Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some Masters League Magnificence out of Metalopolis. Over here spawning in the left position at warp speed, we have Lookingnew spawning in as the red Protoss. And over here at the right position we have OboeMan spawning in as the blue Zerg. As this game starts out, I think I've decided the last two events that I want to do for like the 400 and 600 subscribers categories. So I'll probably have those posted up soon. Yeah, I'll probably have those posted up soon, within the next couple days, I would say. So continue to make sure that all of your friends have subscribed. Everybody that you randomly meet on ladder, all of your clanmates, all those people, just direct them over to boisteroussc2 at youtube.com, and also make sure that you have subscribed, because you know, if you want to play in a tournament organized by me or any of that crap, just subscribe. I'll do the rest. We do have OboeMan going for the extractor first, 14 supply, so I'd be guessing that he's going to go for a 14 extractor, 14 pool. Yep, there we go. There's the spawning pool. We have the just 13 gateway, 14 gateway maybe, from Lookingnew over here at the Protoss position. He has the average lead time assimilator going up approximately halfway through his gateway. And it looks like he's just being annoying with his probe. Not as annoying as he could be. I don't think he's going to be able to drop the pylon. It's going to be iffy, because this drone is actually tagging him pretty hard. Oh, he does get the pylon off, and that's annoying. So the Zerg player is not going to be able to go for that super fast hatchery that he always wanted. Actually, he's just going to cancel and send his probe back to sit there. I'm not quite sure the point behind that. I mean, the Zerg player basically just got him to waste, you know, 25 supply or 25 minerals, because I don't think he had even planned to take that base yet. Yeah, I don't think he even planned it, because he has his queen started and his speed started. So that's the 250 minerals he had pocketed up, just going to waste essentially. And we have the 4 Zerglings popping up. They're going to snipe this probe, and the pylon's going to stay up to delay as long as possible. But again, that's kind of just the 50 mineral lead going to OboeMan, because I don't think that was very important at all for him to get a base up that fast. We do have a Zealot blocking off the front wall off, but a drone got through anyway, because of course you can just click through the mineral patches. So he knows exactly what's going on. He knows that there's no chrono boost going down on the warp gate. Actually, there's a lot of chrono boost saved up, so maybe he's saving up until he can kill this drone before he's going to start chrono boosting out that warp gate, or he's just making a massive blunder. There, the chrono boost. That chrono boost was yet again on the gateway, chrono boosting out sentries. That's an interesting decision. I can understand chrono boosting out like 1 sentry or 1 stalker to deal with a scouting drone. However, chrono boosting out any more than that kind of just seems like a waste of chrono boosting. He's actually going for chrono boosting out 3. So it would appear that he's kind of afraid of a sort of cheesy play, to be honest. Which is interesting, because he's going for the Nexus. I mean, there would be basically no reason for him to be chrono boosting out these sentries if he wasn't afraid of some sort of really fast Zergling run by or anything like that. However, he's chrono boosting them out anyway. So I'm guessing he's afraid of some sort of play out of the Zerg player, who obviously isn't doing it. I mean, his hatchery just finished. So he has his natural far faster than our Protoss player. And I'm still quite surprised that there was absolutely no warp gate going down on this, or there was absolutely no chrono boost going down on the warp gate. I just feel like that's almost a bad decision. Not particularly like awful, but just not correct. I think the scouting drone did finally get cleaned up. So there's going to be very little information until he decides to run his Overlord into the base. However, it doesn't really matter. I mean, all the tech is basically right up front, with a forge and a cybernetics core being basically it. I'm surprised that our Protoss player hasn't gone for anything more advanced than that. Mainly, I mean, it's really a long time after he finishes cyber core, so I'm surprised he hasn't gone for anything, you know, a robo, you know, just really anything. It's kind of weird. We do have 6 sentries out. So these are basically going to be able to defend the base against any amount of Zerglings ever. Especially with this cannon backing them up, they can basically force field off this entire area if they really need to. And I think OboeMan has actually taken the early lead in this game. He has his macro hatch coming up. He has spore crawlers and spine crawlers defending against DTs. So really just playing it really safe. I'd expect him to take his third at any point right now. We actually have a hallucinated Phoenix. We went for hallucination out of that cybernetic score as well. Just to go for some interesting scouting information. And he decided to, of course, hallucinate a Phoenix because it is the fastest unit, and can scout, wherever, whenever. It has a move speed of 4.25. It is an insanely fast unit, and I don't know what it's scouting. I think it was just like scouting the third and then scouting the gold third, and then heading back in, and actually it gets cleaned up before it gets into the main, and that's quite annoying for our Protoss player. Because now he doesn't know what his Zerg opponent is going for. I mean, his Zerg opponent could... I just toggled... Wow, that makes the minimap look really weird. I mean, he doesn't know about this layer finishing up. And actually, these Zerglings not rallied at all. I feel like that's a bit of a mistake. These Zerglings are just going to be sitting in the drone line. They don't care. We do have the Phoenix coming around from the top. Finally going to see the layer morphing. Actually, just before it finishes. However, fairly annoying for a Protoss player not to have seen that on the first pass through. We do have him going for Colossus Tech back here. I don't like this positioning on Colossus Tech, I won't lie. This is a part where like a knight is here or drop here. Basically anything that attacks from the back, mutalisks, anything like that, will easily get this robotics bay, and that is not a good thing for a Protoss player to get sniped. Because robotics bays are fairly important to Colossuses. In fact, so important that you cannot create a Colossus without that robotics tech. We have the Zerglings trying to run in, trying to see what they can see about the enemy base. He does manage to see the army that's massing up in front. However, nothing else. He doesn't know anything about the Colossus tech. But I'm sure that as a Zerg player, he's sitting there and he's like, all right, he's probably going for Colossi. I mean, I'm Zerg. That's just what Protoss do against Zerg. We actually have a lot of larvae stored up. A lot of larvae stored up. We have 9 here, 8 here, 4 here. I don't think this one has a queen yet, so there's not going to be any over 3. Yeah, and finally getting morphed into Zerglings. It would appear all Zerglings, actually. That is quite a few Zerglings. 42 Zerglings, in fact. We have an observer going over here. This observer is going to see this massive Zerg ball that's just sitting here. Being scary, actually these are 1/1 Zerglings already. These are kind of frightening Zerglings. We have +1 ground weapons, +2 on the way. Again, I don't like it when Protoss go for weapons against Zerg. It's just not as effective as armor, I feel, because Zerglings, they attack a lot and there's a lot of them, so I feel like armor is way better against them, rather than weapons upgrades. Because basically armor upgrades makes each of these Zerglings hit for 5 instead of a full 6, which is fairly important. Yeah, and we have that beautiful force fields going down to protect that Protoss ball against the Zerglings. There weren't exactly that many Zerglings there, so that's kind of why that worked. However, there were enough where it was where that army would have gotten cleaned up quite easily. And I wouldn't be surprised to see these Zerglings swing around the back and then just go for a surround. There would be enough for another wave of force fields and then probably another wave after that. However, I think he could do some severe damage. The third is already up for a Zerg player, so he is approximately, quite a few, 70 seconds ahead of the Protoss player currently. And doing quite well as far as economy goes. He has 52 drones, actually behind the probe count, not anymore. He just morphed in 11, so he's at 63 drones versus 57 probes. And it would appear that all of his larva is going towards infestors now. Yeah, infestors. And he has pathogen glands picked up, so that's going to be quite nice. I think that Phoenix did it. Yeah, it just saw the infestor text, so he knows that infestors are on the way. And he's going to be able to prepare and be quite safe against those. Does he have? He does have Templar tech on the way, so that's going to be quite nice to fend off those infestors. He's going to be able to feedback them, and feedback is really what you want when you're facing off against infestors. Essentially, feedback and storm. There's not a whole lot else that can really counter infestors just because of fungal growths being so effective. Yeah, we have the massive Zergling run. I wonder where it's going to be trying to go, because it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to kind of try to run into the base. However, nothing's going to happen because that is way too. That position is way too good for our Protoss player. He might be able to run them into the base, but I'm guessing that a Zealot Warpin would be able to block that off before that happened. And yeah, this is kind of a massive Zerg ball. However, I don't think he can attack with it yet. This has been an amazingly passive game. We have our Zerg player going up to his 4th base, right around the time that the 3rd base for the Protoss finishes. So he is, comfortable where Zerg wants to be. He is 1 base ahead of the Protoss player, which is, again, exactly where Zerg wants to be. He wants to be able to counter it quite easily. I think this Phoenix is going to get sniped. Oh, that Phoenix lives with 4 life to go off and see that the 4th is completed. That is very convenient for him. The Phoenix, the hallucination does end right before it flies back to base. However, yeah, that doesn't really matter. Hallucinations only cost 100, and they are unavoidably dying. We do have the Psionic Storm tech coming out for the High Templar. So these are going to be really quite dangerous, even with Ultralisk's chitinous plating coming. I feel like those High Templars are going to be scary as hell. Of course, these Ultralisks are going to be 4-2 Ultralisks fairly soon, and I'm guessing he's going to upgrade them to Hell Ultras soon after that, which is of course the 5-3 Ultralisk. And 5-3 Ultralisks don't take damage. I'm not sure how many people know that. They physically cannot take damage. The best way to kill them is just to, kind of ask them to die over a long and extended 2-minute period. And this is why you don't want your tech here. The Robotics Bay gets sniped unbelievably fast. Also, the Templar tech is going to get sniped, and that is bad. If he gets this Twilight Council, the Protoss player is not going to be able to do so much for so long. Oh god, he does manage to get the Twilight Council, so these are going to be the only Templar he has. Oh, and one of the Templars almost gets sniped. Ooh, that Templar had gotten sniped. He would have had 1 Templar. Actually, never mind that. 5 Templar. Now at this point he has 6, which is not that much better. To be honest. 6 Templar, and that's all the Templar he's going to have for the foreseeable future. He's going to need to build this Twilight Council for 50 seconds, and then I think, if I am not mistaken, the build time on the Templar Archives is another 50 seconds. So he's not going to have more Templar reinforcements for another minute at least. And yeah, that's not good for our Protoss player. He has so much money stored up. Why does he have so much money stored up? I mean, I guess he is maxed. However, he shouldn't be storing money. I don't like it when Protoss store money. I think he should just destroy this Manx statue and then just build 16 gateways and absolutely and insanely just outproduce the living hell out of the Zerg opponent, and just go for this massive Zealot Archon ball and just destroy him. Or at least that's what I would do. Just what I prefer to see players go for, because honestly he cannot keep being non-aggressive till the Zerg player. The Zerg player is going up to he's going up to 5 bases currently, which it looks like it's going to go into a split map Metalopolis, which is kind of what I expected. I'm surprised that these Zerglings are burrowed here, but there aren't Overlords flying over them dropping creep. I feel like he should be doing that, just for the redundancy. Where he'll kill the Overlord, just to get rid of all the creep, and then like as soon as that creep is cleaned up, he'll go over to get the Nexus, and the Zergling will still be there, so he still can't build it, so he has to wait for the Observer to fly over along with a unit. And I feel like that just being annoying as the Zerg player is what he needs right now, because he's not going to be able to be more cost efficient than the Protoss player, I don't feel. He is doing amazingly well as far as upgrades go. I think the Protoss is only at like +1, +3, which again I don't like. I think he should definitely be going for more armor intensive upgrades, just because again this is still quite heavy on Zerglings. I know it's mostly Ultralisks now, and Ultralisks, I guess you can argue that it's better to have plus weapons against, just because, you know, the Kaiser Blades will absolutely tear through any sort of armor upgrades. However, I don't know, I like armor better. I feel like if you're the less fighting the many, it's better to have armory. It's better to have armor, and if you're like the many fighting the few, then it's better to have it's better to have weapons, just because you know, it doesn't matter if one of the many dies, but it does matter if one of the few dies, which is kind of my rationale towards that. Just my thoughts on the upgrades. And yeah, we have the Wall of Crawl started up over here. Not that big yet, however, it is growing in size. Our Protoss player, I don't think our Zerg player really wants to be throwing away armies like that, because this map is not Tal'Darim. You don't have 9 bases on your side of the map. Actually, Tal'Darim you have like... No, it's 8 technically, but you know, I'm just gonna round it to 9. Yeah, you only have 6. You do not want to be wasting those bases just throwing away units into a Protoss army that is much more cost efficient. Because if you can see, the Zerg is on more bases, but he has less of a bank. And I know that sounds like a good thing. He is macroing well. However, the Protoss player is maxed. So this is kind of a scary moment for the Zerg player, where the Protoss player can just keep making units, and that's not what you really want as a Zerg player. I think he should be waiting for his 3-3 to finish. I don't know why he's engaging into this. Both of his infestors, excuse me, do get sniped. So many storms going down, and these banelings are going to be trying to roll in. They actually land quite favorably on those probes. He's killed 24 workers so far this game. However, it's a waste sending in those units without full upgrades, I feel. It's definitely not what he wants to be doing. And you know, the Zerg player is the Protoss player is on 4 bases. The Zerg has already mined out 1 base, and he's going to be rapidly mining out a second. Actually, not rapidly. He pulled most of his drones off this second base. So he does. I don't know. I don't like this, just sending armies in essentially to die. I think he should be going for greater Spire Tech, which he is. But I feel like he should have gotten Broodlord Tech out far earlier, because Broodlord Tech is really the most cost-efficient way to face off against an army like this. Broodlord Infestor Tech, of course. Just because Storms don't kill Broodlords quickly. Blink Stalkers kill Broodlords kind of quickly, but not all that quickly. It's definitely the best way to deal with this sort of army. Yeah, I don't know. It just, I don't like where this Zerg player is going currently. I mean, he's not doing bad. He does have way more of his bases. However, if this thing turns drawn out, which it looks like it is, once you get a new cross map position, it gets increasingly hard for players to kill each other. And by I mean almost impossible for players to kill each other. And that's just, it's not going to be the best situation for him to be in if he does manage to mine out his half of the map, and just not have an army left anymore. I don't know. Yeah, we have the massive Stalker, Zealot, Archon, Immortal Ball. I'm not quite sure what the Immortals are serving in this army. I guess they do kind of counter Ultralisks. However, I've always felt that that Zealots are better Ultralisk counters. Plus the fact that the Zerglings are still a massive force in this army. I guess they counter Banelings quite effectively. However, I feel like he should be going for definitely more Zealots rather than more Zealots and Archons rather than Immortals and Stalkers. Just my personal preference on the topic. We do have the Greater Spire morphing in, along with 8 Corruptors. So those Corruptors are going to finish up well before the Greater Spire is done, I feel. And he's going to be able to morph in quite a few Broodlords. However, these Corruptors are kind of just going to be sitting around for a while, to be honest. And yeah, I don't feel like the Zerg army is going to be nearly cost efficient enough for this, at least until, you know, Heart of the Swarm and the Viper and stuff. Ugh, I can't wait to play Zerg in Heart of the Swarm. God, it's going to be like playing with the Defiler again. It's going to be so awesome. Ugh, I'm so excited for that expansion. But I can't let it bother me during this commentation. So we do have the Protoss army moving out. He's going to be, you know, just hedging the creep, making sure that it doesn't get all out of control, making sure that his neighbors are not bothered by the amount that his creep bushes are expanding onto his front lawn. The Zerg player is just being very inconsiderate, you know, letting his plants go all over the Protoss. It's just very annoying. And it looks like the Protoss force is going into a nice suicidal position. With his Zealots over here, it would be so easy for the Zerg to come in behind him and absolutely destroy. And he's not going to do it. The Zerg player, oh god, the Zerg player really needed to go in there as soon as possible. And his Broodlords, yeah, they're going to do a whole lot of damage to this army as it runs away. However, I feel like he should have at least gone for the trade of the gold and like sent his Broodlords over here before this entire army got back, just to snipe off the gold base. And he didn't do it. So we have Corruptors just, you know, randomly flying over here, being all scary, being all menacing. And we do have the Broodlings coming out, being quite annoying. The Stalkers are going to try to counter it. However, they're going to only kill one. And oh, the nice fungal, trapping quite a few Stalkers onto that little peninsula there. And those Stalkers are going to get taken out without reprieve. Yeah, this is actually quite good for our Zerg player, this engagement. He's trading really favorably against the Protoss player. I feel like he should have just left his Broodlords there. There was going to be no way for him to escape out of that without losing at least a couple. And he really needs to be engaging into this while he can. The Stalker ball is still small enough to the point where he can engage quite favorably into this. I feel like he should just go for a push right now and really attack. Because currently he's not. He's kind of just sitting on his heels. He's nigh on maxed. Most of that max number is in, you know, just Broodlords, Infestors, and Ultralisks. And actually a lot of workers, I feel. Actually, no, not a lot of workers. Only 66 workers. And yeah, there's not that much going on anywhere else on the map. I feel, I think the robotics bay might have gotten sniped again. That probably happened a really long time ago, and I just managed to miss it. Because there is a lot going on in this game right now. Well, not a whole lot going on in this game currently. However, whenever a lot goes on in this game, it seems like it all happens at once, which makes it quite hard to see. We do have the Ultralisk drop going on over. Just 2 Ultralisk drop, not that expensive. However, it might still be able to deal quite a bit of damage, especially since these gateways have just started warping in, and it looks like there are the oh man, Ultralisks tear through. God, Ultralisks rip through stuff. We do have the Zealots coming in, and these Zealots are going to be able to counter these Ultralisks quite effectively. Actually, no, not quite effectively. Wow. These Ultralisks are still carving through these Zealots despite how, you know, highly upgraded they are. These Ultralisks are going to get cleaned up, but I feel like they were actually pretty cost effective there, because minerals are becoming a resource that's fairly scarce on this map. So cleaning up Zealots like that, you know, a 7 Zealot warp-in is quite effective, because the Zerg player has an abundance of gas currently. He has almost 4,000 gas. Nice fungals going down the entire Protoss army. However, I feel like he should be drawing all of this out of the fray and just letting his Broodlords face the opponent's army. because his Broodlords are really where it's going to be at. I don't know why these Corruptors I don't know why he's throwing down Infested Terran. I really think that he should just be fungling and letting the Siege range absolutely destroy his opponent. It looks like, what is happening? Why? No, get the Corruptors out of there. You need them. They are what morphs into these beautiful, beautiful creatures called Broodlords. Oh god, what are you doing? OboeMan, that is not where you want to make Broodlords. That is not your base. That is the enemy's base, in fact, and his entire army is beneath you. Not the most effective place, again, to warp in your Broodlords. I mean, not the least effective place. There are certainly less effective places. I mean, you could have warped it in over the armada of cannons. That would have been bad. Could have warped it in like right inside of Pylon Power Field where there were like 12 Templars sitting. That would have equally been bad. However, that positioning was definitely not favorable for the warp in of Broodlords. We do have reasonable Broodlord micro happening right now. However, yeah, I feel like they should just retreat, and they are. So definitely going for the right decision there, because this is a lot of Stalkers. And these Stalkers might just win. Yeah, they are most certainly going to win. There's not nearly enough Broodlords here to fight them off. And this is kind of the... Actually, he's managed to drain the bank of the Protoss player. The Protoss player has 6,000 bank. And he's managed to completely destroy that. Of course, the Protoss player can just make Archons. And Archons are an amazingly good frontline force that essentially only cost gas. It's like 100 minerals and 300 gas for a High Templar Archon. And that's, I feel like, what he should be doing right now. Again, just going for crazy Archon numbers, which he kind of is, because he has way too much gas and not enough minerals. So he needs something that trades, you know, essentially 3 to 1 perfectly. And we do have Zealots coming in, and Zerglings are going to wrap up these Zealots quite easily, I feel. And actually, he even brought an Overseer with this drop, so this drop is quite scary. Warping in a lot of Zealots, and again, that's not what he wants to be doing. He wants to be warping in Archons, because look at how few minerals he has now. He has a lot of, I mean, he has quite a few bases mining gas. Never mind. He has 2 bases mining gas, and I don't know. He has way too much gas. I'm just gonna leave it there. He has way too much gas and not nearly enough minerals. And it looks like these Ultralisks burrowing is not going to be the most effective way for them to do anything. They are going to try to clean up these Stalkers, but with some beautiful Blink Micro, actually, he's going to be able to get very few of them. And the Archons do come in, however, I feel like he should be going for Archons. It looks like some sort of drop happened over here, however, it doesn't matter. Actually, I think this was just a run-by of 2 Zerglings. You know, just doing some light harassment on the Nexus that doesn't matter anymore. You know, being a bit annoying. I feel like Pylons are really what he should be going for sniping right now, because again, no minerals, lots of gas. That's where he wants his opponents to be, because gas doesn't really help you when you're trying to make an army, or it doesn't help you nearly as much as minerals do, because the you know, the knee-jerk reaction for most Protoss players is going to be make Zealots. I have, you know, that's what I want to make. Protoss players almost always have an abundance of minerals and not enough gas for their army, because their army is usually extremely gas heavy. However, he has somehow managed, both of these players have managed to throw that out of balance. I'm guessing because Vespene Geysers held so much more than minerals, and you know, they can get mined for long after the mineral patch is gone. So you will mine a lot of minerals really quickly, and then after that, you know, the gas will still be slowly mining out after the point where you have a lot of minerals from that base. I'm gonna take another sip of water as my voice gets hoarse. Yeah, this is the longest game I have ever done, and I actually might need to speed it up because I'm not sure if there's enough room on my hard drive. I'm kind of crossing my fingers and praying right now that I have enough room on my hard drive. And yeah, crossing fingers, praying is definitely what I'm doing currently, because I do not want to have to re-record this. Yeah. We have a lot of Archons, a lot of high temps. just kind of sitting around at the center of the map, not doing all that much. We have a lot of Broodlords, a lot of Infestors, quite a few Queens. That's what I like about this army comp. Queens make Broodlords insanely cost effective. Like, there's cost efficiency, and then there's Broodlords with Queens. They're on a different plane of cost efficiency, because Broodlords with Queens, they don't die. They will not die. It is physically impossible for them to die. And we do have some banelings morphing in, approximately four banelings morphing in. I'm surprised that he's going for, again, such a high corruptor count, considering the fact that there is no Colossi and no Stargate tech. I don't think he has a Stargate. Does he have Stargate? Stargate? Oh, he does have a Stargate. Alright, so I guess he does have one Stargate, which now I'm surprised he's not using it. Because Void Rays are amazingly effective against Tier 3 Zerg, because Tier 3 Zerg is essentially massive units. Both air and ground, both of them are massive. And is that level 3 shields? That is level 3 shields. These Archons are gonna be scary. Ugh, level 3 shield Archons are frightening Archons. We do have nice feedbacks going down on the enemy force. However, he managed to waste a lot of his storm energy. And this is quite cost efficient for a Zerg player currently. The Zerg player, of course, at a much higher supply count than his Protoss opponent, and that's not even like he has a ton of drones. We actually have feedbacks going down on the Queens, which is definitely where he wants those feedbacks. He needs to be wrapping up these Queens from being able to heal, because these heals are getting these heals are gonna kill him essentially. That was some nice Broodlord and Queen micro, absolutely cleaning up his opponent's force. Yeah, he's doing quite well currently. I feel like the Zerg player is just gonna push this advantage into winning the game, to be quite perfectly honest, because he doesn't have that much money left. All right, he has one base. 2 base left on his side of the map that can possibly be mining. He's attacking with the drones. Go drones, go, go! They're 3-3. They're 3-0 drones. What? Melee doesn't upgrade drone melee? Well, that's just unfair. What is that? Oh, they're actually harassing the gas mining probes. That's really where you want your drones. You want them harassing the other player's workers. We have the drones going for the cannon. Let's see if they can pull it off. There's actually quite a few drones here. We have, okay. Let's just launch this. I know that there's way more exciting stuff happening over here with a mothership and Zerglings and everything like that. Yeah, again, the robotics base sniped. So I think I've paid enough attention to that where I can go back to the drones who are sadly getting cleaned up. They did manage. Are they going to do some hull damage? Sadly, no. They almost did some hull damage to that photon cannon. They were so close. Those drones just almost did the hull damage they needed to do to kill it. We have the mothership coming in and cloaking everything. So this is going to be where having those corruptors is actually kind of effective, and I'm not sure if he has them anymore. We have a Nidus worm popping up over here, and some zealots warping in again. Zealots, actually, wow, his bank is completely drained now, like completely and absolutely drained. Not exactly where the Protoss player wants to be, and of course getting this Nexus sniped is most certainly where the Protoss player does not want to be. And that's quite good for the Zerg player. He loses, is he gonna lose? Yeah, he loses like 4 Zerglings to kill a Nexus. Nice use of the Nidus worm there, just running in, killing off a building. That is quite important at this point in the game, and getting the hell out. Quite nice for a Zerg player. We actually have a lot of minerals coming out from our Zerg player, so that's probably just because he has the gold and he's actually mining really effectively off that gold base. And he's going to have no minerals after this. This is essentially his last hurrah for minerals. He probably has another 3,000 on his side of the map, maybe maximum 3,000 on his side of the map, and after those 3,000 are gone, he doesn't have anything left. He's going to need to be as cost effective as possible with those minerals he has left on the map. And if he can't manage to do that, it's gonna be game over. And yeah, it looks like this is just going to be a final fight, as the Protoss player, recaptures this base, which has far more than 3,000 minerals. So he has many more minerals on his side of the map than the Zerg player. However, he's going to need to spend a lot to get those minerals out of the ground. And this is actually quite an interesting end game happening that happens in a lot of StarCraft games, where both players are mining amazingly slowly, and they can't really do anything about that. And I think my computer might just be hitting its cap on hard drive space, which is not good for me recording this game. So I am going to be speeding up to ×2. I know that some of you out there hate it. However, I don't want to hit the cap this close to the end of the game. I really, really don't want my computer to crash. So ×2. I hope everybody's okay with that. We do have the massive Zergling run by, sniping off everything. Getting sniped by that massive Zergling run by. Actually getting quite a few units too with that Zergling run by. Just crushed 3 Archons over there. And the massive Zergling run by running into the main, sniping off all the production in there as well. Going to be quite annoying for our Protoss player to deal with. Just amazingly annoying for our Protoss player to deal with. We have the Zerg army moving out onto the field, and it's going to catch the mothership with no support. That is fairly awful. He does almost get a really nice vortex off. However, nah, not quite. And yeah, this army is amassing at his front. I don't know what he's going to try to do. This army is fairly scary. This is a lot of stuff coming out from our Zerg player, and he's not feedbacking what needs to be fed-backed. He really needs to get the feedbacks on these queens, because these queens are going to absolutely destroy him. And it looks like, the engagement just barely goes to our Zerg player, who has no minerals left in the bank. He has no minerals left on his side of the field. He has 3 patches with a total of 400 minerals left on his side of the field. This is where he needs to be as cost efficient as possible, because if he loses this army, he loses the game. There's no question about that. He cannot lose this force. He has like 1 Broodlord and a ton of infestors, and I think those infestors might just be his saving grace, because the Protoss player, conversely, just doesn't have the production. He has 1 base. He has 1 base, and he's like 19,000 gateways off of that 1 base. And this is a crazy ending to a ridiculously, insanely long game. Yeah, and it looks like the infested Terrans are going to be waddling in, and the drones, stealing his opponent's minerals. Oh, so PM. Oh god, he's like, I need minerals. He might be able to, with this amount of drones, I think he might be able to effectively mine off of 1 of those patches. Actually, I want to see somebody try to do that. Just go for like the insane long play where they're just mining off of 1 mineral patch with 20,000 drones. Cross map mining. There's long distance mining, which everybody else calls long distance mining, and then there's this distance mining, which is from the mineral 9 of the 5th on Metalopolis to your gold base. And yeah, Lookingnew has GG'd out of the game, so congratulations to OboeMan on winning the longest game I have ever commentated ever. And I'll probably start doing these more and more often, just because, again, I can upload more than 15 minutes. However, before my computer crashes, I would just like to remind everybody to head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also to send in any and all replays into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. I will be, sifting through them as I can, and just, seeing which ones I want to commentate. Also, head on over and show your support in the Battle.net thread on the Battle.net forums. Yeah. Remind everybody from all your clans and all of your friends and everybody that does and does not play StarCraft 2 in your life to check out Boisterous SC2 at youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. And yeah, before my computer crashes, this is Boisterous signing out.